Holy free holies, it's the Comic Lyra podcast, where we comically
and literally
review comics. I'm Ryan, also known as Comic Stan. I love comic books, but my co-host loves regular books, so I make him read comic books, and that's never truer than it was this week.
You know the comic is fucking atrocious. When I've been here for over an hour and we've procrastinated on doing the only thing I'm here to do because neither of us want to start.
I actually do want to talk about it, but I am in agreement in the quality, if that makes sense.
May.
And for anyone who's wondering, we're talking about Peacemaker Presents, the Vigilante, Eagly Double-Bill something. I don't even have the title in front of me. I can't be asked to get it. We're doing the comic about Vigilante and Eagly from Peacemaker universe, which is we're currently releasing it series, 5-issue series, and we've only done 4 because the 5th issue isn't out yet, but Peacemaker Season 2 is coming out this week, or out already by the time you're listening to this. Anyway, with me as always, my aforementioned harmonious co-host is Jamie.
I mean, there are weeks, right?
And there are weeks.
There are weeks when I turn up here and Ryan is expecting me to really love the comic book, and I don't. And then there have been occasions where I've turned up here and Ryan's ready to just burn something to the ground. And I'm like,
yeah,
I think it's got some merit. And then there are weeks when I walk in and the look on my face tells Ryan everything he needs to know, which is that he read a stinker. He made me read a stinker, and I agree that it's a fucking stinker.
But you know what's especially funny? Is I picked this for you. Not because I thought you'd love it or anything. I didn't know what it was about. I could guess what it was going to be like. But you got obsessed, well, not even obsessed. You started mentioning a lot about the character Eagly. Because you found out there was a character in comics that was just an American eagle who killed and attacked people.
Admittedly, I've been a vocal fan of Eagly, and Eagly.
What about now?
Eagly's the only thing I like about this comic. I will defend Eagly here.
But well, fair enough.
So, who wrote this ill-timed abortion, Ryan?
This was apparently.
I like that our American listeners. That will be the most offensive thing I say
this week. Definitely not last week. If you listen to the last week.
Well, what did I do last week?
Oh, don't worry about it. We got into I think shootings in America, topic, globalization, and tipping culture. So like the 3 hot topics of American.
Oh God, I really
debates.
upset the Americans last week. Have we had any emails this week?
Nah. I mean, they only just come out today as we're recording, so they might still come.
Yeah, they might still come.
We'll see it. Anyway, interestingly enough, every once in a while we get a new kind of credit with comic books.
Yeah,
and this one, these stories. The Vigilante story and the Eagly story kind of running concurrent in this series. They're both have a story consultant of one James Gunn because he actually kind of created this version of the character.
Well, fuck.
Yeah.
That does not bode well for the quality of the new DC films.
So I will defend that in an interesting way.
No, it's indefensible.
No,
right?
We all get into that. The history character, where they are now, blah, blah, blah. The Vigilante story was written by Tim Seeley with art by, I think it's Gerads, but the style of font, I can't tell if it's a capital D or a capital O. So I'm going to say Gerads for now. And the Eagly story was written by Rex Ogle with pencils and inks by Matteo Lolli and colors by John Kalisz.
Right, so I only read Vigilante.
You didn't read the Eagly part of the comic.
I read 4 issues.
Yeah, and the second half of each issue was the Eagly story.
Oh, yeah, so I did read the Eagly story.
And to be fair, the Eagly story I have the least to say about.
Well, I thought the Eagly story was the Peacemaker sort of story.
I mean, essentially, that's part of the criticism. It is meant to be the Eagly story, but it's mostly Peacemaker.
I didn't miss anything. Right, for a minute, I thought I'd missed something. Because you kept talking about the Eagly story, and I was like, what fucking Eagly story?
And that's the thing, it's marketed as the Eagly story, and he's like in it like 10% of the time, maybe? Okay,
so we should start with the art.
Well, I was going to say the character Peacemaker. So a lot of people know him nowadays because you
can't see him.
That's a good wrestling joke.
Oh, I have one wrestling joke in an episode about John Cena. I did real good.
And you made it because to me it's old hat. Because I'm so in the weeds. Like, yeah, you can't see. But for non-wrestling fans, it's like, he can't see. He's invisible.
Joke.
It's the Reddit joke. So what happened was, this Peacemaker character was originally brought in the 60s, right?
He didn't originally look like John Cena.
They've made him look like, in the classic sense that an actor becomes popular playing him, so we'll change the comic book character into the actor. But he had that look, the big helmet, the red top, and the emblem, and all that stuff.
Is this a DC character then?
So that's what's interesting. He was originally a Charlton Comics character.
Right.
Do you remember where? Does that name familiar to you?
It does, yeah.
Do you remember where? I'm not expect you to know, it is like a deep cut.
DC bought up a whole bunch of heroes from Charlton Comics, didn't they?
And do you know how they're kind of best known, what they're best known for nowadays?
No, I don't. I don't remember, but I remember talking about it with you.
It's a deep cut kind of bit of lore, but it's the Charlton comic characters that originally Alan Moore wanted to use for The Watchmen.
Yes, so that's why we've talked about them, yes.
So this character is the character Alan Moore wanted to use for the comedian role. Yeah, exactly. Because the Peacemaker originally was a very serious character, and his whole thing was peace at any cost. So he'll do whatever it takes to defend peace, and it doesn't matter how many men, women, and children he has to kill to defend peace. That was the bad guy who thinks he's a good guy in a very obvious sense, but kind of a allegory for the US military industrial complex.
Maybe there's a little metaphor for America in there.
Global interventionalism, just a little bit. So that's how he originally started out. Fairly bland character, pretty much dropped off entirely. And then in classic form, with creators when they're kids enjoying characters and then growing up to become creators, James Gunn was like, I like Peacemaker character. I'm going to put him in the new Suicide Squad that I'm making. And he cast John Cena, and now the character is funny.
So when did DC buy Charlton Comics?
Oh, age ago. As best I know, I don't have the exact date. It was obviously before Watchmen happened. It probably was around that time, because Alan Moore, when he was pitching Watchmen, and originally he was pitching as a 6-issue just mini story, and it wasn't even called Watchmen at the time. It was a story concerning the Charlton characters. He went to DC because he was like, you've just bought these characters. I've got an idea for a story. Can I use them for it?
Yeah.
And they were like,
can we do it?
Yeah. And they were like, what's the story? And it's like, well, the question is maybe a right-wing conspiracy nut who's murdering people. Captain Atom is an inhuman, lost his humanity and, doesn't want to save the world from nuclear warfare. He wanted to do things to the characters. They were like, we were actually going to, keep making comics about them and as heroes. So maybe we don't want to make that story. And that's what spurred Alan Moore to be like, well, I'll make my own characters then.
The irony, of course, being that they'd never really did anything meaningful with them. Yeah. And if they'd have just given them to him for The Watchmen, they would have been the biggest fucking commodities they had going.
But then here's the thing, because I'd love to see, if we had interdimensional, alternate realities, I'd love to see a reality where he got the characters and made it. But even according to Alan Moore, because he then had to make characters from scratch and he had to give them origins and backstories, that's what spurred him to create an even deeper story. And that's what pushed it from being 6-issue to 12-issue, because he was had all this extra story and
stuff. He credits that change with what made Watchmen so great.
Exactly. So potentially that 6-issue story could have been remember that weird Alan Moore story about Peacemaker and The Question and Captain Atom?
Yeah, because it wouldn't have had the level of depth that it had.
Exactly.
We wouldn't have gotten the subplot about the newspaper stand. We wouldn't have gotten everything that made that comic so good.
Probably wouldn't have got the pirate storyline, because he was like, shit, I said 12 issues and I've got 10-issue story about. Actually, that's why there's the whole issue about Dr. Manhattan and his perception of time, which you probably wouldn't have got with Captain Atom, because that's not a thing of his. So
totally.
So it was interesting. It was interesting to me to think about. I thought you'd appreciate.
Yeah, it's a fun thought experiment, if nothing else.
The main thing now is, because James Gunn wrote the character in Suicide Squad, and James Gunn is kind of a make all characters kind of funny, and then he hired John Cena, who admittedly is a good comedic actor.
Yeah, he is funny, isn't he?
The character has fallen in line with the film presentation. Now he's kind of a Deadpool DC clone, essentially.
I think he's confused.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think this is a bit muddled.
Yes, but here's the other thing, that after Suicide Squad, James Gunn then made a TV show, Peacemaker, and that is really good and really funny. Like,
I've heard people really like it.
Yes.
But is that not mostly because John Cena's good in it?
I think it's John Cena and James Gunn. Apparently, James Gunn said it's his favorite thing he's ever made, is this Peacemaker show. Yeah, that's according to him. So what's interesting here is, and I've said this about Deadpool for fucking years now, is you've got a character whose trait is being funny and in funny stories, and then you're tasking comic book writers who might not have that streak in them to make them funny. And I think that's where you're now getting these series where it's like, it's a character who's trying to be funny, but
that's why one of the best Deadpool comics was written in part by a comedian, right?
Brian Posehn, exactly. Yeah. It's why I keep telling people about it. It's like, that's the best Deadpool. They got it right in the middle there, and then they just kept going too far the other way. But yeah, so I think that's the kind of biggest problem we're having here with this character. So getting into this, shall we starting with the arting?
Yeah.
There's two different art styles that we've got to talk about.
Well, I didn't really notice a distinct difference in the two art styles.
That's surprising to me, because the first one I found was quite like a grainy texture, muted colors kind of style.
Well, it was the same art style. They were just operating in different places with different light levels, right?
Yeah,
it's the same art style in two different light levels.
I think, is the confusion coming from here? Are you talking about art style specifically like the lines and drawings? Whereas I think I'm talking about like overall color and, texture and everything.
Well, no, I'm talking about the art style. There was one.
The only reason I'm confused,
they were drawn the same.
Right. I'm gonna show you bits from each, because I think they're different enough to notice. I'm not gonna say they're like completely drawn differently, but I definitely felt like I was in a different world when looking at each one. So this obviously being the art style of the Vigilante story.
Yeah.
And compare that to that with the...
Oh, yeah, no, you are right.
Yeah. I think like the lines and proportions of stuff are very similar, but...
Yeah, so I like the Vigilante stuff more.
So did I.
That kind of 80s... Do you know what it reminded me of?
Like kind of grungy?
No, it reminded me of GTA Vice City.
Yeah. The kind violence was very much like that.
But just like everyone in sunglasses and like button, like kind of Hawaiian shirts, half buttoned down with a bit of chest hair poking out.
Yeah.
Like it just made me feel like GTA Vice City. I don't think either of them looked bad.
I think the Eagly one just looked kind of mid to me. Like it was like
they both looked mid.
But at least with the Vigilante one, I did really enjoy the detail on like the faces and facial expressions. And
there was one really great panel.
We might be thinking about the same one, because I took a picture. I'll show you and see if the one I was looking at. There was a face that just made me stop and go, that's first way. As soon as I started reading, I thought, this is trying to be funny, is actually going to make me laugh. And I think this is the only bit that actually got a laugh out of me.
Oh, so
his facial expression in one of the panels is just such a weird, like, he looks so confused. And the context is a woman is explicitly flirting with him. And he's, we're talking about the story. I think he's kind of meant to be autistic or shades of autistic.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
He 100% is. And we'll talk about that later.
Yes. Yeah. Good idea.
So, no, the one panel I liked was the two mob bosses, the old lady mob boss and the young guy mob boss, who are chained up together and go,
I know
fuck it, we might as well.
Yeah.
And they're doing it like reverse cowgirl on a chair, and you see like droopy titties and just it's just like kind of gratuitous, but also like you were expecting it for a couple pages, and it was kind of funny and it was kind of well drawn, and like...
I also took a picture... The attention to detail. So one of the mob bosses, the Vigilante, is an old lady. And it's kind of a funnish character, like, for how much they're in it and stuff.
But there's a lot of attention to detail on, like, the specifics of her breasts.
She's lunging at someone with a knife. And because she's moved with such gusto, her breasts have naturally, as is with all people, lowered closer to the ground. And because she's moved so quickly, they've gone to the side as she's lunging at someone with a knife.
This is going to win an award.
I
at the
just
end
don't
of the
know
year.
what award yet.
It's gonna win the most unnecessary attention to detail of an old lady's breasts award.
And with the same vein, the detail on the face, it just entertained me a little bit.
Yeah, I've never seen a comic where they've gone into such excruciating detail.
You know what it kind of reminded me of? Like the face I showed you. Remember Ren and Stimpy? And they did it as well a bit in SpongeBob.
I've maybe seen half an episode of Ren and Stimpy in my entire life.
So SpongeBob did a lot more, so you might recognize this from that. But there's a thing they did where, as a joke in a cartoon, it would zoom, very, you know what SpongeBob was drawn like.
Yeah.
Occasionally, the joke would be it would cut to a closer look at a character, and there was so much additional detail.
Yeah.
It was they called it in the industry a gross up. So it kind of reminded me of that, where it's like it's that panel where they've just cut closer to the face, and suddenly there's all these extra lines and features and wrinkles and stuff.
SpongeBob did that really well, though. Didn't it?
Yeah,
it
exactly.
was really funny.
Yeah, but it was Ren and Stimpy. They created the process or the technique. It kind of reminded me of that, basically. So I thought that was funny.
So,
and I said the Eagly one was just. I know you don't. I think if I remember correctly, you don't like this term, but it's the only word I can think of to describe it. It's kind of cartoony, but like.
Yeah, I don't like the term because they're all cartoons.
Yes.
No, it is though. It is. It's just sort of
kind of Family Guy-esque. It looks a little like that style.
I don't know that it's that cartoony. It's very generic modern DC.
Yeah, but a bit more. Looks a little more
softer.
Yeah, softer, comedic in tone, like the whole art style.
It's like modern DC house style, but a little bit rounder on the edges.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The one other thing I did like about the Vigilante one was I thought the gore did look really good at points.
The Vigilante one generally looked pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Now that I really think about it, the Vigilante comic generally looked pretty good. The characters' designs were quite good.
The facial expressions got across character emotion really with the ones who weren't wearing masks.
A lot of them were quite good in silhouette. Vigilante was very good in silhouette.
There was a couple of points where people got their faces ripped off, and they were very gory and detailed.
You know what? I'm calling it. The art on the Vigilante half is good.
Yeah, I'll totally agree with that. I was kind of, yeah, I think so. The graininess, I think, got a bit like, oh, it's this constantly all the way through. But the drawings behind it were a lot better, to be fair.
So let's get into content.
Yeah, let's get into the story.
Let's start with the Vigilante side.
Do you want to tell us what the story is?
Man, it's so fucking lame.
It's really inconsistent, and there are plot points that I reread trying to understand.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
So Vigilante thinks that Peacemaker is his best bud.
Yes, which is a carry-on from the TV show.
And so he calls Vigilante, and he's like,
calls Peacemaker.
Calls Peacemaker, and he's like, I've got the appliances. We're hanging out.
Yeah.
And Peacemaker's like, no, I've been kidnapped, but don't bother trying to find me because they have robots. He's like, okay. And so he goes on a mission to rescue Peacemaker from these bad guys. In the process, he ends up getting in between two mob bosses who are having a meeting.
Yeah, in a really contrived way, the confusion and just incorrect assumptions he's making about Peacemaker being kidnapped by robots inadvertently leads him to constantly thwart the plans of these two mob bosses, essentially. And one of the mob bosses is a Jersey Shore looking character.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know, is that a reference?
Yeah. I mean, one of them's an old lady in a nursing home.
Yes.
And they both have these two henchmen who it turns out are fucking each other.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a reveal in issue 3 or something.
There's a reveal quite near the end.
But the problem...
it's in issue 5 and it's a big deal.
Issue 4, because we haven't read issue 5.
Yeah, it's in issue 4 and it becomes a big deal that, like, they're shagging.
But the way that Vigilante... I think we are just talking about this in a scattershot way.
Yeah,
it's still,
there's no rhyme, reason, or
the story does not deserve to be told chronologically or reviewed chronologically.
No, it really doesn't.
But we're talking about the Vigilante one first. I have way more to say about this than the Eagly one.
Yeah.
But the Vigilante one, there is a undercurrent of this guy is mentally unstable, and there's again these contrived coincidences that he's thwarting these mob bosses. There is something about a unhinged vigilante character, regardless of him being named Vigilante, who is accidentally thwarting people because he is unhinged, and I appreciate that as a fresh story in this kind of world. Like, I appreciate that was something new in itself.
I don't think there's a need to make him autistic.
Yeah.
And so, like, obviously autistic and so stereotypically autistic.
He's definitely more autistic coded in this than he is in the TV show.
I mean, there's a moment where he literally says, I don't understand people because people don't say what they actually mean. And I'm like, all right, autism.
Yes. I don't think it was necessary. You could have just made him generally crazy. I don't think this is a facet of the character that was required for this story. Yeah, I don't know why they made him that way. It seemed unnecessary is what I'm summing up with.
So the thing is, right, as a man who loves an autistic, and I say this with great affection, all of my friends seem to be autistic.
Yeah.
Excluding Ryan, weirdly.
Not officially.
I'm here for like neurodivergent superheroes, right? But I just feel like making him not realize that the people he thinks are his friends not actually be his friends, and making it so that he doesn't understand social cues, like, it doesn't get to the core of things enough.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you're going to make an autistic superhero, you should do the thing, but then part of me also thinks, well, actually, those are two pretty big, things that would happen, and it doesn't otherwise impact him in a way that for a lot of, like, people with autism that function relatively well, it doesn't. So maybe actually it's great.
I mean, by the standard of autistic representation in media, the bar is low enough that they get credit in this for at least not giving him an autistic superpower. And I don't mean that in a Marvel DC sense. I mean wider
Sheldon
media.
Cooper.
Him and the Predator film that came out at one point, it's like, well, he's autistic, but he's a super genius, so he can figure out this alien code.
Or there's the I am a surgeon guy.
I am a surgeon.
Yeah, I don't know what I only know the meme. I don't know what it's
called
from.
The Good Surgeon, I think, or The Good Doctor or something like that. But yeah, that
the one I mean, though,
that
don't
got
you?
rinsed for that portrayal, where it was just like, he's autistic, but he knows shouting at his boss in a hospital is not a good way to show you are like mature and can be given extra responsibilities. Like, that was beyond the pale.
Yeah.
There was a film in like the 90s that I'm surprised if anyone else remembers. I only remember it for this fact because I saw it by chance. It's a Bruce Willis film called Mercury Rising, I think it's called. The fact that I'm just realizing now it's got an autistic character and the title has Mercury in it is wild. I didn't realize that until I said it. But the plot of that was a autistic child intercepts KGB chatter and like in code, but because they're autistic, they can decode it immediately. Then KGB after him, Bruce Willis is a cop and needs to protect whoever. Point being, there is a big thing in modern media of a child with autism or an adult with autism is also a super genius in like math or something, decoding whatever.
I mean, Alan Turing's portrayal in The Imitation Game, Sheldon Cooper in The Big Bang Theory, the list goes on and on and on and on and on, doesn't it?
Yeah. So the fact that this is a character portrayed with autism who isn't a super genius, it gives it merit because the bar is really low.
No, actually, I'm calling it. They've done a great job.
Yeah. Most recently, the Accountant films with Ben Affleck. The whole plot of that is
I've never heard of it.
No, that's what I'm telling you. So I didn't expect you to have seen the film. Basically, he's a character who, to explain the plot of The Accountant, he's a really good accountant. He's also a grown man with autism. And because he was raised, he's got a military background as well. So he's basically a John Wick, but also he's an accountant whiz as well. But even in that...
This sounds like a really boring film, Ryan.
Oh, there's like shooting and stuff. There's shooty bang face and all that stuff.
So it's a Matt Damon accountancy flick with a bit of shooty bang face.
Ben Affleck. The other one.
Oh, they're the same human being.
Not that one, the other one.
They're the same.
Are you saying all white people look alike?
Yes. Jesus Christ, Ryan, have you not noticed this?
And he's allowed to say that because he's got ADHD.
Right. I was about to say something that you'd end up cutting anyway, but I'm gonna say it and just see if it makes it in.
Yeah, let's not leave that in. Anyway, he's an adult with autism, which actually is presented with autism, who is actually presented very accurately, like in terms of how he acts and stuff. Like Ben Affleck apparently like spoke to a lot of autistic people and really tried to make a good portrayal, but it all kind of then is at the background of
speaking
he's
to a
great
lot
at
of
maths.
speaking to a lot of autistic people is a challenge because most of them are busy elsewhere
With trains.
well just anything like most of them are busy doing something.
Well, like the Vigilante character, they have hobbies and interests
They have
that they tunnel
hyperfocuses.
vision on and get really obsessed with, and with Vigilante it's killing bad guys. So this might be the best portrayal of autism in comic books.
I love that we came into this ready to shit on it and we were like, oh no, actually this is
actually really good.
This is actually a really nailed on portrayal of autism in comic books. Because again, something that some of the autistic people in my life have had to contend with sometimes is they will have conversations with people and they'll come away from it and I'll be like, you know, that guy doesn't like you, right? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, that guy doesn't like you. And they're like, oh, but why were they being nice to me? And I was like, they're being polite.
See, that's the difference between me and autistic people. I just assume everyone doesn't like me until they say otherwise. So
yeah, well, no, and it's like I was like, oh no, they're just being polite, and they're like, oh, okay, and I'm like, why are you particularly fond of them? And they're like, well, kind of, yeah, like they'd always been nice to me, and it's like, yeah, no, and like I hear a lot about the kind of.
I still think you're continuing doing this podcast just purely out of politeness.
Do you actually?
No.
That would be so. Imagine if I was.
The courage to say I don't want to do the podcast anymore.
It's been 2.5 years.
Now, finally.
It's been 2.5 years, and I've worked really hard to find a way for this to fit in with parenthood and shit like that.
But that's also that's the thing about people who are in relationships for years and years. Like, do you actually still like me? It's like I would have left if I didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think what doesn't help this. Or what goes against this portrayal of autism is the fact that they are striving for jokes so often. So that kind of undercuts
not funny.
It. No, it's, again, like I said before, I knew from the outset, my first note was too many quips already.
It shoots for funny and it falls short.
Even the Deadpool comics do this aspect, even in modern day. If you've got a quippy character, they work best against a more normal backdrop of non-quippy characters, because then they stand out. Whereas if you go the Joss Whedon route, Whedon-esque dialogue writing, if everyone's quippy, then no one's standing for it.
I think it's why Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool worked so well with the big, shiny X-Men character. What was his
Colossus.
name? Yeah.
Who was funny in his own way, but it was dry humor or dry wit.
Yeah, you've got a dry character and a very witty character playing off each other.
It's the classic... funny man, straight man of a comedy duo.
It's John Belushi and
Dan Aykroyd.
It's John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, isn't it?
And again, Dan Aykroyd was funny, but he wasn't doing the same type of humor, and that's why they work well together. And that's why it's a classic duo kind of thing.
How did you get straight there?
What that's the characters or the Dan Aykroyd?
Yeah.
Because I just know if it's television or film related, I probably know it.
No, I'm just impressed. Like you
I
know
have a
exactly
fixation on television and film and an encyclopedic knowledge of superheroes.
But no diagnosis.
I haven't been tested.
No, you haven't been tested. Do you want to hear something funny about the autism test?
Sure.
One of the questions they give you in the actual NHS autism test.
Do you like trains?
Do you like trains?
It's
still in the test. It's still in the test, right? And not even do you have intense interests or do you sometimes fixate on your interests for long periods of time and lose time? No. Do you like trains? And it was because for such an awfully long time, trains were such a common hyperfixation for autistic men.
I think, to be fair, they still are.
I have a very old friend. And you know exactly.
I know who you're talking about.
He's a wonderful human.
He fucking loves trains.
He fucking loves trains. He fucking loves them.
So what we're saying is, when it comes to all types of people, some stereotypes are true.
Do you know he now has a financially successful YouTube channel where he makes models?
We should have him on the podcast.
No, he would be fantastic on the podcast. He would be.
Can we find a train-based comic book? By we, I mean me.
Yes, we did one.
No, you're thinking of the truck one.
Oh, I'm thinking of the truck one.
That's why you're not autistic, because you get trucks and trains confused all the time.
No, if you could find a train-based comic, he would come and do the podcast.
Right, that's my new homework.
But he has a very successful YouTube channel now where he makes Airfix kits to the extent that he got invited to Hornby,
Right.
which are the people who make the train kits.
Okay.
Because they were like, yeah, no, you should come and just have a look around. And he
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
No, yeah, he fully got invited to Hornby and was just there at Hornby, like, why am I here? And they were like, we just thought you'd get...
He never asked why he was there. He didn't question it.
He was just
I don't know, but
I get to go to Hornby.
Yeah, he's not second guessing it. He's not looking a gift horse in the mouth.
But no, it was really funny because, again, I know very autistic women who very nearly didn't get their autism diagnoses, and it's because they don't like trains. And it's like, but ask me about Taylor Swift, and I will,
Yeah, it's a funny stereotype because trains does seem to be in real life the most common shared interest, and that's funny, I guess.
Yeah,
and I could see the appeal. Like, trains look interesting. They've seen that guy on YouTube or whatever. I can't what platform it's on. The guy who runs around with the fucking head camera,
with the head
but
camera
it's pointed in the way,
and he's always panting like it's the end of a porno.
Yeah.
What's his name?
He sounds like a Hugh Grant impersonator.
Yeah, and he's got a really posh name, and he
fucking loves trains.
He fucking loves trains.
Didn't know what we were going to get out of this episode, but we're here now.
Also, I do think we have to, just very briefly while we're talking about this character, we have to give him a power ranking.
In what? In the Mad Shagger power ranking?
Yeah, well...
fucking 0, isn't it?
He scores low, right?
Right.
But he scores even lower because he does the fatal flaw, which is he does the J from the In-Betweeners bit.
Which bit is that?
And I quote, "We fuck up bad guys, smash hot chicks, and blow up shit in the yard while pounding brewskis." He essentially gives us the J from the In-Betweeners. I fucked 13 birds when I was on holiday, mate.
Yeah. I think it's...
fucking, honestly, worst Shagger in the entire DC universe.
I mean, probably. I wonder if there's anyone worse. Because Peacemaker does at least sling dick. And thing about Peacemaker, interestingly,
I bet Peacemaker pays for it, though.
Well, probably. He talks about it. But what's interesting is, in this John Cena version, it was confirmed in the TV show that he's actually somewhat bisexual as well. So he's in that kind of category of Mad Shag because he's always talking about it. He's always talking about sex, the character. But now he's got twice as many possible people as well.
I think it would be hard to contend with somebody who got laid a lot and was bisexual, because you're right. It just, I mean,
and we're not talking about the stereotype that there is of just every bisexual person being promiscuous, because that is a stereotype that does not apply to all people. What we're talking about is a sex-mad individual who also has twice as many targets.
Well, yeah, no, we're talking about a top shagger who suddenly has more targets, right?
Yeah. What's especially interesting is this Peacemaker being bisexual. It's, again, he's already, like I said before, he's kind of entering that DC's Deadpool role, and Deadpool famously is pansexual. So,
oh yeah, Deadpool is pansexual, isn't he?
Yeah, and for all the confusion that I myself share a bit as well, but I take that kind of I don't know enough, so I'm not going to bother asking. The difference between bisexual and pansexual in this case is because Deadpool fucks actual demons, like literal like beings from hell. Well, so I think that spreads it into pansexuality.
I mean, yeah, the big difference between pansexuality and bisexuality is that bisexuality kind of relies on the gender binary.
Yeah.
It's like, I am attracted to both men and women, whereas pansexual people are like, well, gender just isn't an issue for me in any capacity.
Yeah.
You know? Right. Like, I think pansexuality, I mean, to be honest with you, I think one of the terms is a lot older than the other.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And like, even if pansexual isn't a much newer term, it has come into popular use more recently. And I think pansexual is just really a more modern sort of gender-aware way of phrasing bisexuality, even though there is a distinction, and I'm sure people are very, that distinction's really important to some people.
Yeah.
Either way, bisexual erasure erasure in media is such that whenever you see a bisexual character, it's like, cool.
Yeah. And by straight people and gay people, unfortunately.
Bisexual erasure is a huge issue.
Yeah.
And I think some of the kind of homophobia that goes towards bisexual people from other people in the queer community is very much not in keeping with what those communities tend to be about for me, and it's all very unsettling. It's fine.
Goes to show you can find prejudice. You can find a little bit of prejudice in most communities to some degree.
Yeah.
But white cis people are still the best at it.
Oh, fuck yeah. Like, oh my God, we've been doing it.
Olympics.
We've been doing it for a long time, haven't we?
And we're descendants of the British Empire, so we know what we're talking about.
Fucking A. So yeah, the Vigilante story.
It's confusing. I can see what they were going for with this, like, when you know it, he's got the wrong idea, but he's stumbled upon these criminals again, and he's getting the wrong idea each time. And I'm like, fine. Like, I will take these contrived whatevers, for this driving story. Like, if it's entertaining, I don't care. Like, I'm not here for well, hang on, he didn't, that's not correct on the previous issue. Like, I'm not in that mode for this story.
Yeah.
But when it gets to a point, and this is I think a big plot point of the story, at one point, he gets stabbed in the chest by a character, and there's a running joke in it where it's a character with knives who has a name of a gun, and the character who uses guns who's got the name of a knife.
So Cannon uses swords, and Saber has guns.
And Vigilante remarks on that, and it's like, it's not really a good quip or joke if you've named characters to have Vigilante remark on it. Like, it's not a good joke.
Overwhelmingly, the sense that I get is that there are some fun ideas here.
Yeah.
But it's all quite badly executed, and the art looks all right.
Yes. But so the story point is he gets stabbed in the chest, and it's the end, it's the cliffhanger of an issue, and you're like, what's going to happen next? And then, oh no, that's not even the cliffhanger. He then gets away, and he checks his chest, and he's not, for one thing, he's not dead, and there's barely any blood, and he's like, and then he starts getting into, maybe I'm the robots, because they're secret robots. He's like, maybe I'm a robot. And I'm like, and in the moment, I'm like, that's fun, because now he's had this massive, serious cliffhanger moment of a completely intentionally bollocks plot. Like, that was fun in itself. The explanation, and I had to take a picture of it to make sure I'd got it correct. I was like, this is what we're going with, right? The explanation is the old woman mob boss is beating the shit out of him, just so happens to kick him through a x-ray machine to show that he's not a robot. Again, extremely contrived. Fine, whatever. And she says, he's like, yeah, I got stabbed in the chest and nothing happened. Like, that's why I think I'm a robot. And she says, so what? He used to be a human pincushion in a freak show. He stabs himself all the time and nothing happens. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, and they don't address it after that. Like, that's it. That's the last of the subject.
That's the explanation you get given.
Yeah. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, are the knives fake? Like, but wouldn't he notice that he got stabbed with a fake knife and nothing went in? It was a knife and he hit him, he stabbed it, when there's like, the person shot you, but they actually are such a marksman, they managed to miss all your major arteries and muscle, and you're actually you're fine now. So I didn't understand what they were trying to do with that.
Yeah, but this is nothing on how badly written the Peacemaker stuff is.
Oh, the Eagly story. Oh, is that what you mean? The other story?
Yeah, yes. The other side.
Because again, when I say the Eagly story, I keep having to remind you, that was the Eagly part of the double bill.
Well,
despite
why
the fact
is it
that
all Peacemaker?
Exactly, that's the problem.
So Peacemaker's a fucking dickhead.
Yes, and that is true to the character of the James Gunn character.
But he refers to himself as an anti-hero.
Yes.
And then he's a dick to people in the end, then he just ends up being friends with them for no explainable reason.
Yeah, so it's that character arc in the TV show, but across way more episodes with actual character growth than things like that. So in the Suicide Squad film, it gets to a point where the massive development of the character is, again, he's peace at all costs, whatever. They find some bit of information about the American government that the Rick Flag character is like, we need to get this out to the people. Like, and they're all in agreement. Oh, the Suicide Squad, except Peacemaker, because he knows if this gets out and people don't trust the government, there'll be riots and stuff and the opposite of peace. So I need to actually stop that from happening.
I need to suppress this.
Yeah, and they have fighting spoilers for 2021, I think, Suicide Squad. But they fight, and it gets to the point of Peacemaker stabbing Rick Flag through the heart. So post that, and this was someone he knew from before. Like,
does Peacemaker have powers?
No, he's like Batman. He's just really good at fighting and really
just
strong
really jacked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's John Cena playing him. So, but yeah, so post that, and then the other side Suicide Squad members turn on him. Then the beginning of the TV show is him already questioning his kind of place in, and like, you know, because he, you know, did I do the right thing in there? Maybe I should rethink my entire ethos. Yeah. And him kind of on that hero's journey to be a better person afterwards. So he's still an arsehole at the beginning of the series, and then he does win over these group of people who hated him at the start. They become a kind of dysfunctional family. Classic James Gunn, you know, Guardians, that kind of formula. In this, they are just recreating it in a really rushed way that doesn't make any sense and is just completely bereft of any nuance or, you know.
So historically speaking, has Peacemaker been buds with Eagly?
I think Eagly was created by James Gunn. I don't know if he has appeared in Peacemaker before or not. For all I know, he could have, and I just don't know about it. I think he was created by James Gunn for the TV show.
Because we don't get enough Eagly.
No,
here.
It's meant to be the Eagly story, and he's barely in it. There is a nice part, it's a fun part where they're they're on an airplane together and Eagly has his own seat.
Yeah.
And there's a part where the air host tells them both to shut up, and both Peacemaker and Eagly hang their head in shame because they're being told off by the air host.
Or there's the point where somebody asks him if it's an American Eagle and he goes, yeah, it's my emotional support animal.
That part was like, is that you know, that whole like, oh, would... bloody woke today. Everyone's got emotional support animals, and you know.
I mean, that's kind of the sense that I got from this character, is that he kind of represents the right. Like he upset those women on the flight, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if it might be like a poor execution thing. I don't think he's meant to be presented that way. I think he's meant to be presented as a brash, says his mind kind of.
I got the vibe that this was like a big argument from the anti-woke brigade, and I don't like that.
I don't think it is, and I will actually, and I was going to mention this at the end of the episode.
Are you going to try and defend it?
No, I've got an example of what you're talking about, like a real dead-on example of the kind of thing you're talking about in comics. So I was going to talk about the end anyway. I think you can argue either way on this.
That's certainly the vibe I got, that it was kind of like, you know, that sort of the petty right-wing idiots that seem to have a voice at the moment. Your Ben Shapiro's.
I mean, he's always had a voice. It's now considered more mainstream because his guy's in the White House.
I keep seeing a tweet that his guy's in the White House. Is he a Trump guy?
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Oh.
I think at one point he badmouthed him, but obviously then he won. So he was like, oh, actually, I was always on his side. You know, he's that kind of...
I saw a tweet from him that keeps... Again, it's a tweet that has been attributed to him, but the internet's very good at faking these things these days.
There's one that, if you're talking about the one I'm thinking of, is real, but go on.
It's the one where he's saying, what's her name? She's blonde, she's an actor.
Oh, we might be talking about different things.
But maybe a pop star. Like, people are saying that Sydney Sweeney's boobs ended woke, and my sister had much better boobs.
Oh, that's fake. Yeah, that's a running joke. So his sister is very well endowed, and people make the running joke. I think he made a reference to her, like in a very light kind of way of like, she's an attractive woman or something like that. And then people saw pictures of her and they were like, she is attractive. Got massive tits,
right,
like
so
huge.
So
Do you want me to find a picture?
Well, no, I've seen a photograph of Ben Shapiro's sister.
Right.
Because I've seen this tweet about 5 times and she's always pictured next.
Yes.
So I know that his sister's stacked.
Yeah.
But that is kind of the vibe I got from the Peacemaker stuff.
See, I think more accurately, to kind of give you a better comparison to defend for your point, he's more of the kind of barstool sports conservative guy. The guy's like, I like beers and I'm patriotic and you know, that kind of vibe. And I totally get what you mean. I'm not even saying you're wrong or anything. I just didn't get that because I think he's more, to me, he was more of that kind of just brash guy who's definitely not left-wing or anything at all, but I don't think he's even on the right either. I think he is that, because the Peacemaker character at his heart is a criticism of patriotism. He
He's
follows the
arguing-
government to protect peace, and he will do whatever unspeakable things to defend it. And he is still carrying that cross. But I think him as a character is definitely originally meant to be a criticism of that. And I think they have intended, in the TV show and the films, they have carried that across. Whether it's apparent enough in this comic or not is another question, really.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, no, I know what you mean. And I think with this, the main thing was this was trying to be funny. And again, I didn't find the Vigilante comic very funny, but there were things in it that at least held my interest.
The Vigilante comic made me smile at least twice.
Yes.
This did not.
This once with the eagle hanging his head.
That
was the one bit that made me laugh.
Yeah, that was worth it.
I didn't like that the air host became really infatuated with Peacemaker because he saw him naked and then Peacemaker gets naked in front of everyone to get into his superhero costume or his vigilante costume, whatever you want to call it. And the air host, who is obviously a gay character, then picks up his Peacemaker's underwear to smell them.
Yeah,
and I'm
gross.
like, does anyone do that? And unfortunately, the answer is yes. But I'm still like, why do people do that?
Why do you think I come here to record every week, Ryan?
To go in my hamper.
Oh, Daddy!
You just smell your own microphone.
I did. It smelled good.
Well, it's definitely got some smells on it. We know that for sure. So it's why you keep using the same microphone every week. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff in there which meant to be like, ooh, edgy humor. And I'm like, I like actual edgy humor. And this is it's just weak.
Does edgy humor even really exist now, though?
Good edgy humor is things that actually push the boundaries, but in a good faith way. For me, the best pinnacle for that is like shows like South Park or Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like those are where the butt of the joke are the characters who are doing bad things or being edgy. Like the joke is always on the characters themselves.
I think my favorite Always Sunny moment will always be Danny DeVito talking about his character in wrestling.
I'm the trash man.
I'm the trash man. And I just start throwing trash on the arena and then I eat garbage. And it's like fucking like the fact that Danny DeVito approached them and asked to be in that show.
No. So the story goes, it was a guy called, I think his name Frank Landgraf or something like that. He was the head of FX. They did one series just for the three creators and the woman who plays Dee. And they released that series and the ratings weren't great for it, but they were still like, there's something here and it's really cheap to make. So if we can get it up ratings wise. So Landgraf said, what if you brought someone on who's a bit more famous and that'll get people just to try the show, because that's the problem is people don't know about it. So they said, what about Danny DeVito? And apparently Rob McElhenney, now Rob Mack, he's changed his name because people couldn't pronounce McElhenney correctly. I probably mispronounced it. He was like, no, we don't want to put in just a celebrity, like this is our thing and we want to make how we want to make it. And they were like, okay, we're going to cancel if you don't. He's like, when can we meet Mr. DeVito? And they were still fans of DeVito. So they went to meet, and DeVito, his kids were a fan of it. So Landgraf went to DeVito and they was like, do you want to be in the show? And he was like, well, my kids seem to like it. So, I'll give it a try. And it's just match made in heaven. And the correct best moment of Danny DeVito in the show is when he crawls out of the leather sofa naked, covered in sweat, with a really contrived way he got in there in the first place.
I don't know, that's pretty good. Or we don't diddle kids. We definitely don't diddle kids.
Can we write a song about how we don't diddle kids? Like, nothing will make people think you diddle kids quicker. And again, edgy humor. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, they are the butt of the joke.
Good, yeah.
But they are in those dark subjects.
Yeah.
And that's why it's funny. So yeah.
No, you have a point. Always Sunny is edgy and very funny.
Yeah. And again, to use the term edgy in itself is like almost sounds derogatory.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we both know the pinnacle of edgy writing anything is Garth Ennis. But
ugh, God.
To say dark humor, I think, is different from edgy. I think edge implies trying to be edgy for the sake of being edgy or being perceived as edgy. Having a dark sense of humor and joking about those topics, like you're still first and foremost trying to be funny over everything else.
And there's things that have like a darker edge to them that aren't particularly edgy. Like you can have a dark sense of humor without being edgy.
Oh,
like
yeah,
I feel
100%.
like Black Books had quite a dark sense of humor.
That was more of like a dark vibe.
Yeah.
And that's just my perception of. I'm not arguing that point, but I know what you mean. The fact that the character was a raging alcoholic and no one cared, like that in itself is quite dark.
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? It's like it was Dylan Moran's imagination of a man who'd just fully given up, and I don't think Dylan Moran actually wrote Black Books, did he?
No, it was written by a guy who
he's largely in trouble now, isn't he?
I know that he's in trouble. He's just everyone stopped listening to him because he kept banging on about turf and anti-trans stuff and all that.
Oh yeah, he was a fucking dick.
Lyman, something like that. He went mental. Like that's the most accurate thing to describe what's happened to him. It's a shame because he was a good comedy writer back in the day.
But yeah, no, I don't think it was any good.
No.
It was boring. The character was boring.
They made a pegging joke after Deadpool made pegging jokes in his films.
Yeah.
Like you're like Deadpool 2, I think, is when he first started making them properly. No, Deadpool 1, because they were having sex for the different holidays, and it was an International Women's Day.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds was getting pegged.
Yeah.
By his beautiful girlfriend. Oh, bloody jokes on him. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Reynolds getting pegged is funny.
Yes. They really hammered it home in Deadpool and Wolverine, where he was like, the guy gets the bat on how he thinks it's strip, and he's like, whoa. Now, if we're talking pegging here, like, just go ground rules. And he makes a joke about, like, something about it's like, I can't remember what the line was. I'm not going to do it justice, but it was basically like, whoa, I know what pegging is, friend, and so does Kevin Feige now, and like looks to the camera or something. I can't remember the exact joke. My point being, Deadpool 1 in 2016, their superhero character, a pansexual superhero character is making jokes about being pegged, and now they decide now's a great time to put in this Peacemaker comic. It's like you're way too late to the punch.
Deadpool 1 is nearly a decade ago.
Yeah.
Took nearly 10 years. It took 8 years to get Deadpool 2.
Yeah. I mean, the first one took ages because...
No, did we just have Deadpool 3?
No, 2 came out quite quickly, I think, like 2018,
and then we just got...
Yeah, Deadpool Wolverine got delayed, almost certainly by COVID, and also the fact that Reynolds himself said he didn't know what to do for the third one. At one point, he said he honestly had the idea to make it on a micro budget and make it like an indie, like A24 film and not tell anyone, and then take it to Sundance Festival and then their show. It's Deadpool 3, but it's made on a budget of like 100,000 when they're normally 200 million, and do it that way. He said he was so close to like pursuing that.
Just doing it.
And then what changed it was his real life good friend Hugh Jackman was like, yeah, I kind of miss the Wolverine character. Like he had a good buy and everything, but I don't know. And Ryan was like, oh,
we could.
Well,
because the Deadpool is like inextricably linked to the X-Men. Like he's an X-Men universe character.
He's the most outside the inner core group X-Men mutant, to the point where he isn't even a proper mutant, but he has a mutant ability. So he's the most non-X-Men X-Men character you could get.
Peacemaker.
Yeah.
So
wouldn't recommend.
No, would not recommend it. Will not be reading the 5th issue.
No. Can't be asked. I hope to see the artist for the Vigilante artist. I'd hope to see them doing some more stuff.
Yeah. If we can get them writing on something really good from Marvel, maybe I'll be interested.
I saw something kind of great and almost kind of not great. I don't know. We might work this out. I saw announced recently, and I think first issue just came out, there's a 5-issue Superman comic coming out, and it's called something like the Kryptonite Chronicles or something, but it's by the writer and artist. I don't know if that's one person or 2 people, but I think it's both, those people from, if it's 2 people, it's the same people from Ice Cream Man. So the art is Superman art in the Ice Cream Man comic style. So that looks really interesting. And
So it's the writer and artist from Ice Cream Man doing Superman.
It's definitely the artist. I think it's also the writer, if that's 2 separate people, which I'm not sure about. And I can't be asked to Google it right now.
That is 2 separate people,
yes. So though that looks really interesting, so we might do that. The problem is the 5th issue comes out in December. So maybe in November we might do the 4 issues.
Well, probably not November.
Well, in some point we might do the issues, or I'll save it till early bloody 20.
Until early to mid 2026 when I'm back podcasting.
Exactly. So the other thing I wanted to mention was there was a comic book controversy in the world of comic books, and I thought I'd get your
take on it.
And like we haven't been doing this episode already, 2 white cis men weigh in on a controversial topic. It's time of the week.
Is it actually controversial as well?
I mean, it's let me give you the actual thing that's happened, right? So there's a comic book universe called the Valiant comic book universe, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
And one of the characters is a character called Bloodshot, who's their most famous because he's the only one who's had a film where he's played by Vin Diesel that bombed, but he's still the most famous character.
Is it all about family?
It was La Familia.
Was it actually?
No.
Oh.
I thought you were just making a Vin Diesel joke.
I was, yeah. I was specifically making a Fast and Furious joke.
Yeah, exactly.
I've wanted to rewatch the Fast and the Furious for a while and just not found it anywhere.
Nah. I mean, first way, I think you like the early ones, don't you?
Yeah, I want to rewatch the first one.
I'd be interested to see how far, if you start from 1, how far you'd get into them before you didn't like them anymore. Because 5 is where it goes crazy new world.
I've only seen the first 3. I don't think I would actually go any further than Tokyo Drift.
4 might still appeal to you. Because it was a frog in a boiling saucepan kind of situation where it just slowly got crazy. I think I would do
the Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious. And then I would maybe watch Tokyo Drift if I was up for it, and then I would stop.
I mean, I'd be interested to see how you would find the ones after that. And again, where it got too crazy for you, which I think would be 5.
Can we do
a Fast and Furious episode?
When I come back from paternity leave to like ease me back in, and we do the Fast and the Furious as a whole episode.
Yeah, that'll be a bonus episode. And we'll just be like, do you want to hear us talk about Fast and Furious? Like, why not? So, this comic book, they're trying to reboot their Valiant universe because of the success, I think, of the Ultimate Universe and the Absolute Universe. So it's an alternate Valiant universe for the same reason, right? So this issue comes out, Bloodshot, he's in a world of vampires now, which apparently is created because of his nano blood, blah, blah, that's the plot or whatever. There was a panel in it, and I'll read to you the wording used in this panel, right? So it's the Bloodshot character talking about the vampire world that he now lives in, right? So he says, the Yakuza's connection with the government promotes a neuro-marketing lobby to normalize blood consumption, and that's vampires are in charge, basically, messing with the minds of the younger ones. They sell fake blood as a trendy drink. Here's where we get to the issue. It then says, there are kids who want to be bitten to become vampires because their favorite influencer says they are one, and parents who force their children into the, in bold, irreversible change just to feel modern and believing that they'll be thankful for it when they grow up. So that's wording in a Bloodshot comic that just came out recently, and basically unanimously kicked for being very obviously anti-trans, rhetoric, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's so obviously anti-trans.
Exactly. So...
yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
The little bit of humor that we can get from this is the response from the company, who basically said, it was Alien Books is the publisher, and they said, we apologize for the harm caused in the phrasing. It was meant to be just a fictional world, but we have a specific line of dialogue has been read as alluding to real world issues, but the standard corporate
apology.
It's then afterwards when they get to, that was never the intention. The original line was written by an Argentinian creator and was unfortunately a case of nuance being lost in translation. What was the nuance that was lost that would have made that okay?
Yeah.
Because I would love to know. It seems like they got a writer who was like, I'm going to get some anti-trans stuff in there. And they were like, oh no, it's because English is not his first language. Like, that's not what happened, very obviously. But they would rather lie and say it's that than admit we hired a transphobic writer to write a comic book. And turns out a large portion of the people who still buy and read and make comics are trans or pro-trans or queer, or they're in that community, or at very least are accepting of the community,
just aren't dickheads.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
I think that, again, we celebrate comic books that reflect life, and so if there was an actual issue where parents were making their kids be trans, or where being trans was suddenly like a big fashionable thing. If that was an issue in the world, I would be celebrating comic books that talked about it. Yeah. But I don't think it is an issue. And therein lies the problem, is that there is still a real struggle that trans people have to be accepted. I don't think it is a fashion statement to be trans.
No.
I don't think it's
a fashion
trendy.
Statement to be one of the most persecuted people in society. It's like that seems very fashionable to do right now.
Yeah, totally. It's just not the way it works, is it?
No.
And I think,
hey, would you like to have your risk of violence increased by 100% or whatever? Like,
buy shag bands.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. It's just not fucking happening, is it?
No.
It's the argument that TERFs have, and they're like, oh, men are men are pretending to be women to get access to female-only spaces to hurt women. And it's like...
When has that ever happened?
Yeah, do you know how fucking easy it is for men to hurt women in this world? They don't need to do that.
I'll wait till they're in the bar. I don't want to make a lie of that, but that is how ridiculous the
It's how
scenario
ridiculous
is.
they sound. Yeah.
And you know what's happening now is because Trump's in office and they're emboldened to, do these kind of policy and stuff. What you've now got is full biological women who are now being challenged to prove they're biological women. So now you've got more women who are facing persecution and basically assault to prove that they deserve to be in the space that they are told this should be the space they need to be in,
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's just, it's a backwards world, and at least we've got good old Peacemaker to have a little escapism, even if it's not as funny as it is meant to be.
But the nice thing is that we exist in a community that called this shit out.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that they felt the need to apologize, it's good in itself.
Yeah, so I would just... My overwhelming response to this is, well done, comic book fans.
I don't know I don't know who this person is, and I don't know if they're the first person to call them out. I mean, probably not on social media, but they are the calling out that got shared around initially. Someone by the name of Zoe Tunnel, who said they pride themselves on their professionalism in comics. They don't talk shit about books they don't enjoy. They're happy when folks get gigs, even if they wish they'd land them themselves. So when they say the transphobic bullshit in the new Bloodshot #1 comic is disgusting and should never have made it to print, shameful shit.
Well done to you.
Yes. So you get our good person of the week.
Well, it's just like, we fucking talk about this shit every week, and we have a small but growing audience of people who come and listen to it, who are all comic book fans. And it's nice to think that we exist in a community that isn't full of shitty people.
And if you made it this far into the episode and are now finding out that your morality differs from ours in a way, now's as good a time as any to stop, because it's only going to get worse from here if you don't like this kind of stuff.
I mean, I don't mind the idea of having people who have different opinions to me listen, but just be aware that we are so liberal it hurts.
Yeah.
We are just both quite liberal people.
More left-wing than Noam Chomsky.
Yeah. I mean, I'm essentially a communist. Our listenership in America just went...
I mean, communism's on the rise more now than it's been in the past 50 years.
Fuck. Right, that's time to call it.
It's a good way to end it. And if you listen to us and you do agree with us, or at the very least just like what we say, tell your friends. Say, these guys host Comic Book Podcast, and they're really cool, and you should listen to it as well. Use that exact wording.
They're really cool.
They're really cool and thoughtful.
Do you know, when I met my partner...
Which one?
You can fuck off.
It's the best running joke.
She found out I had a podcast, and her friend did a recce and listened to the podcast and was like, it's okay, Emily, it's not that kind of podcast. He's just a nerd and he talks with his nerdy friend about comic books. He's not a horrible misogynist.
On the spectrum of podcasts, look, I suppose talking about spectrums again. On the spectrum of podcasts, we're closer to the Mark Maron end than the Joe Rogan other side.
Yeah. But honestly, if you, as a straight white man, if you tell a woman that you have a podcast now, it is a red flag.
It can be a red flag. I think that's...
Well, no. The point is, it's a red flag until proven otherwise.
Yes.
Like, somebody vetted our podcast and was like, yeah, it's just two nerds talking about comic books. It's fine.
How was the podcast? They seem harmless.
This is literally it. She was like, it seems harmless.
Tell your friends, a harmless podcast.
The Comic Literate podcast, it seems harmless.
It's harmless. And if you can leave a 5-star review with that phrasing, that'd be the best.
So good. It's mostly harmless.
All right. That's all we've got. And here's a recording after Jamie tells you bye.
Thank you so much and goodbye.
And thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe to get notified of our future episodes as well. And if you're feeling particularly generous, then please leave a 5-star review on whatever podcast app you're using. If you'd like to get in contact with us, then send an email to comicliterate@gmail.com. You can also watch videos by me on the Comic Stand YouTube page, which is linked in the description. Thank you, goodbye.